Digi works with jeepney drivers in the Philippines to deliver rice to blind families affected by pandemic. A Digi volunteer believes secondhand clothing can save the world, one piece of clothing at a time. I'm Sean Scallon. This is Dai Headlines. Let's get started. Digi Philippines chapter continues to carry out pandemic relief, helping visually impaired families who find it hard to make a living due to movement restriction orders. Digi contacted jeepney drivers to go door to door to deliver rice and other supplies to these homes. Here's more.
The jeepney is being driven to the Digi grounds. This time is to help the visually impaired people.
Volunteers thought since we are in ECQ, parang this is the time that the PWDs, they need the support of Tzu Chi the most.
Before the pandemic, people with disabilities have difficulties in going out. But after the pandemic, everyone was restricted to go out, and the opportunities for working at home were reduced. Even if they wanted to beg outside, they were not allowed to do so.
Kumikita rin po pero hindi po ganun kalaki.
We don't have enough income, so I'm very happy to receive these supplies. We have planned to go out to beg, yet we are not allowed to do so.
Yun nga po, nag-ECQ na naman.
Besides, as social gathering is not allowed, it's not easy to host aid distribution. Digi contacted the multi-purpose cooperative of blind directly to go door to door to deliver supplies to every household.
My colleagues and I are grateful for Tzu Chi's help because it's not just for the first time, but it's for the second and the third time.
The food distributed includes 20 kilograms of rice, brown sugar, rice noodles, and cooking oil. The truck is totally filled, hoping to deliver the care and love in time.
Pingxi, New Taipei City, is the most aged community in Taiwan. It faces numerous challenges due to this aging society. We now find it hard to look after basic issues such as health and nutrition. Taipei Digi Hospital recently cooperated with TIMA to take care of the health of the elderly with a free clinic, helping send care and compassion. Take a look.
179 over 77. 对，然后心跳74.
Most elderly people in Pingxi have chronic diseases. In addition to caring for them and providing medication, TIMA's free clinic also teaches daily health exercises. 60-year-old Mr. Tsai suffered poor health due to drinking in the past. The medical team encouraged him to walk around more often.
The most special one is alcoholic cirrhosis. We encourage him to stop drinking and then actively participate in volunteer activities.
This time a teacher from Dongshan High School brought students to participate in this free clinic. This is the second time for Chen, who took medical work as his first choice. For him, medical treatment is not only knowledge, but also how to care for others.
The most important thing is to cultivate a kind of compassion, which is needed when a doctor interacts with patients. This is also a kind of learning.
In high school, they cultivate their love and sow the seeds of love in their heart first.
Traditional Chinese medicine doctors instruct students how to massage the elderly. 90-year-old grandmother Li is a case that TIMA has cared for over 20 years. This grandma is like family.
When I come, I will chat with her. I help her do acupuncture. In fact, this will make her very happy.
In addition to seeing a doctor, TIMA also introduced the new concept of advanced medical decision. In recent years, due to the volunteers and people in Pingxi area, hope everyone can make advanced plans for their own lives before they reach a critical stage. At Tainan's Sanhua office, a disaster prevention event was held, hoping to raise awareness amongst parents and children. Vegetarian cuisine was also prepared and offered as participants brought eco-friendly containers, contributing to the wellness of our planet.
While the platform shakes, children grab onto pillars and stay low to the ground. The earthquake-like effect is manually created by volunteers as both hands and feet were utilized.
When the brothers say start, we will shake 3 times.
There is also this DIY kit allowing children to test their own creations in an earthquake simulation.
My child wanted to build a tall building, but he lacked knowledge on shockproof buildings.
Through this interesting learning process, children may learn more about disaster prevention and potentially gain more interest in the field.
Firefighters park a fire truck nearby, and by using recycled water, children get to aim with a hose.
他一听到消防队喷水，就马上要来了。
然后你稍微往前，身体往下压，
CPR techniques were being taught at the event. Even Tainan Tzu Senior High School's principal brought his grandchildren here.
因为这样可以救人。
This is better than our courses taught on campus, and it's great because they start since middle school.
Children were very excited to meet their hero, Robocop Polly.
Tzu Chi is really our role model. We learn a lot from them.
Even at the vegetarian food market, everyone prepared eco-friendly containers.
对啊，因为我们不是说就是无痕的啊，因为你如果空手来的话，就不用吃了啊。
觉得还不错啊，不会排斥吃素食。觉得吃素其实对身体也是还不错。
防灾。
We can prevent disaster by going meatless. We also hope that the pandemic may come to an end.
Educating disaster prevention while providing delicious vegetarian cuisines, everyone worked towards one goal, that is to protect our planet together.
April 22nd marks Earth Day as 8 recycling stations in Kaohsiung invited local residents to do recycling together on weekends. A secondhand market was also built, helping introduce the ideals of recycling and eco-friendliness to more young people. Here's more.
Recycled iron shelves, after applying paint, display a traditional feel, and along with proper decorations, it looked like furniture from a restaurant.
We don't have to spend money for gifts. Actually, everyone has the ability to connect with one another. It also continues the lifespan of items.
The Jingsi drum team built a second-hand item market, and on weekends, many people arrived at the scene.
我可以，这种事情很有意义。
怎么说？
就是可以让地球减缓暖化。
可能购买之前会先思考一下吧。对，就是或是自备容器。
No matter if you are old, young, or a child, the recycling station is not meant for retired people or old volunteers. It is everyone's responsibility.
Though the Xinjiang recycling station is small, it still managed to fit in many local residents.
I'm happy doing recycling, so I thought of coming here.
It is very meaningful, so I wanted to try it out.
因为这边可以帮忙做东西。
On behalf of the next generation, I will lead residents to reduce garbage output.
Many ideas were being taught at the event, including recycling and saving water.
保特瓶，我们就物命延续。
PET bottles teach us about continuing the lifespan of items. Later, when we do recycling, we have to cherish water, and we cannot throw away the unused water. We will water the flowers and clean the environment.
After recycling, vegetarian lunchboxes are ready to be served.
I hope residents who come and participate may start to use an eco-friendly container in their daily lives.
April 22nd is Earth Day, so we want to bring in young people from recycling stations and hope they will continue doing good deeds.
During recycling while promoting vegetarianism, event attendees are slowly being introduced to loving our planet.
Digi volunteer Tak Fang Ling heard that children who wear secondhand clothing will grow up healthy from her mother-in-law, so she always gave them secondhand clothes. Originally, she herself was against secondhand clothing, but due to her children's influence, she started buying secondhand clothing to sustain the world, one piece of clothing at a time.
The family shopping right now is very environmentally friendly. Even the clothes they wear now, which look new, are actually secondhand clothing. After Digi volunteer Tok Fang Ling had her first daughter, she heard from her in-laws that if children wore used clothing, then they'll grow up healthily. This is why all 4 of Tok's children have worn secondhand clothing when young and continue to wear secondhand clothing well into their adult years.
I really love to shop and I always follow the trends. I couldn't accept wearing secondhand clothes because I felt maybe I will contract dermatitis, but seeing the children wear it growing up, slowly I've gotten used to it. The clothes are clean and some are pretty new still. My oldest daughter, when she was young, said something that changed my mind. She said, if those clothes haven't been worn before, then it's new. That was pretty smart, and that's when I started wearing secondhand clothes. Right now, I'm still very into fashion, and I'll pay attention to the colors or types of clothes, but I will wear a simple version of that trend.
Tok's oldest daughter, Cai Jiaying, has worn secondhand clothing all her life, and as a graphics designer, she has her own thoughts on fashion.
Many times, secondhand clothing goes with everything, and in recent fashion trend has been layering on that vintage look, which means wait 5 years and the look is back in style once more. As long as you have not gained much weight, the clothes are perfectly suited again. Like this shirt, this one actually belongs to my mother. It's from her middle school years.
This was from when I was 15. My father went on an out-of-country trip and bought this for me. I loved it and wore it a lot. I couldn't bear to throw it out. I knew I wanted to save it for my daughter later on.
This one is very pretty. I can pair it with a pair of jeans and it's in season again.
When their clothing bores a hole, this family doesn't throw it away, but uses it as pajamas. When it's not suited for pajamas anymore, Talk will then use clothing as fabric and make bags with it, or use it as a rag for cleaning the house.
Actually, when we talk about polluting the environment and creating waste, if we can sustain the life of something, then that's a way of protecting the environment too.
Secondhand clothing might not be as attractive as new clothes, but as long as we are willing to give it a chance, secondhand clothes can sometimes be on a trend.
As the Tainan Jingsa Hall reaches its 20th anniversary, let's take a look at an old couple who arrive every day and groups of volunteers who give without asking for anything in return.
The wife follows wherever the husband goes. In the Tainan Jingsi Hall, the couple can be seen everywhere. Reminding each other, 83-year-old Lin Wunan and his wife Su Meihua were present at the Jingsi Hall ever since it started construction.
We never thought we were here and often and become recognizable. It was very fun. This is like our home and we're building our home, thus we put in great effort and care.
I felt very proud, and it's a great honor and opportunity to be able to live here.
With reminders and caring for one another, the couple carried on.
Whenever I feel like not going to the Jingsi Hall, he's the one that wants to go. I'm lazier than him. With the Tainan Jingsi Hall, we're able to bring in people who don't understand Tzu Chi and allow them to understand us further.
78-year-old Zhen Ling Yuying was here before the Jingsi Hall was built.
Our original team had 28 members. 8 members passed away.
Stir frying with great momentum, being 146 centimeters in height, she has to cook while standing on a stool.
We have people who come in to do stir frying. I do the seasoning.
I know what senior bodhisattvas like in terms of favorite cuisines.
For 20 years, her outgoing attitude and willingness to give never changed.
They said that I cook food that is suitable for them, and if they are happy, I'm happy.
Working silently, this group of volunteers manages the windows in Tainan Jingsi Hall, as there are 1,000 glass panes in the building.
Wiping the windows clean was very uncomfortable because we had to raise our heads and climb stairs. Therefore, in order to manage the Jingsi Hall, we must work as a team.
Keeping the home clean, Liu Chen Xiulan raised many certified Tzu Chi volunteers.
If you come from a community, you must be guided because there are few laws at first.
20 years ago, when the Tainan Jingsi Hall was built, Wang Mingxian, who was a recycling volunteer at the time, upgraded the recycling station.
The first recycling education station is located in Renda district.
Transforming a recycling station into a place of education, Wang Mingxiang treated the process with patience as he guided family members into his work. 26-year-old Wang Weijie is a nephew of Wang Mingxiang, yet he treats him like his father.
从小时候，阿伯带我进来
When I was little, I lost my mother, but I felt the same amount of love in Tzu Chi. I'm very thankful. Because Wei Jie met his uncle and aunt's teacher, who educated him well enough, this allowed Wei Jie to grow up peacefully without the absence of motherly love.
As love passes on to the younger generations, let us hope that more good deeds will be done at Tainan Jingsi Hall.
Since Tzu Chi's 55th anniversary is approaching, many performing groups and volunteers will return to Hualien. Therefore, 100 Hualien Digi volunteers spent a day cleaning up the global building. Let's take a look.
Volunteers work in teams of 2 people to set up the quotes properly. Not only do they fold the quotes neatly, they also place them at an angle. They also arrange the beds according to pandemic prevention SOP.
3 people stay in one room. Originally, there could be 4 people. We place an extra Jingsi folding bed in the room. As there is an extra bed in between, people would not feel crowded.
To welcome the upcoming Tzu Chi's 55th anniversary, 100 Hualien volunteers are mobilized. They spend a day to clean the 9 floors of the global building.
我们周年庆演绎哈，那每个和气哈，大家人力分。
For our annual performance, every team shares the work. We plan to set up 1,000 beds to welcome performing artists and other groups. We also seize this opportunity to form good affinities with everyone.
借此因缘，能够跟大家结好缘。
The volunteers work with one heart and mind and check out the corners ready to welcome their Dharma families.
73-year-old Lin Huimei is the first person to lead study groups in Hualien. For nearly 30 years, she has inspired people in communities and nursing homes. Some have even learned to read, while others have let go of their worries. Here's more.
As early as 1993, Lin Huimei has led her first study group in Hualien upstairs funding Chuyuan's laundromat.
I remember she asked me if I could hold a study group here. I said yes. What are you going to read? She said they would read Taiwanese Jingsi aphorisms.
Lin Huimei, who's more than 70 years old, is leading 8 community residents to read together. For illiterate recycling volunteers, she will encourage them to copy Buddhist sutras so they can learn to read.
Very diligent. They write beautifully. I give them 100.
Lin goes to places spreading seeds of kindness. She does not give up on inspiring the residents of mental institutions. Reading is the fastest way to nurture wisdom and getting rid of worries.
I remember one time I thought of giving up, but then I saw a phrase that said we should be diamonds and not rough stones. We need to be polished to shine. So we should be happy when we face challenges.
Learning the Dharma and sharing the teachings with other people, Lin is diligent.
They keep encouraging me and they are waiting for me. I often tell myself to have the courage and perseverance. I will accompany them.
In terms of domestic water usage, toilets use up most of the water in a household. A water-saving expert installed a stainless steel object into the toilet's water tank to control the amount of water per flush. Take a look.
A toilet that doesn't require flushes, but will this technology produce any bad smells?
The urinal is actually specially designed, therefore it doesn't produce any bad smells.
It's water saving because it doesn't need flushes.
Flushing a urinal usually uses up to 3 liters of water. If 30 people utilize it, and each person uses the urinal 3 times a day, which amounts to a total of 90 times. During each flush, if everyone manages to save 3 liters of water, a total of 270 liters can be saved. This amount is usually how much an average person uses per day.
这种科技原来是要给这个太空科技，以及有些
This device was originally meant for space technology and places where water is scarce. Therefore, the Water Resource Agency has always encouraged everyone to use the filter.
都很鼓励，如果大家方便的话，可以来采用。
Normally, the urinal produces bad smells. This is because of the chemical reaction between urine and oxygen. Therefore, we use a filter which uses barrier fluids, blocking out oxygen. We also use something like a siphon, which serves the purpose of immediately flushing urine into the sewage pipes.
Normal urinals require a water sprayer, sensor, sanitizer, and a jetting pipeline. Yet an improved version only needs a filter, which uses up to 9,000 times.
At the bottom, there will be urine stains, which will block the channel. At this moment, once the urine is blocked under, the barrier fluid is pushed up to the surface. Once it is pushed up, we need to change up the filter.
In the diagram of domestic water usage, toilets use up to 25%, washing clothes uses 23% of water, and bath about 22%. Normally, flushing a toilet uses 6 liters of water, thus a water-saving expert uses a stainless steel object to control the output.
In the piston, there is a space, and if you open it, the water sinks and air flows upwards. This device holds it, allowing the piston to float. After adding the metal piece, which has greater weight than buoyancy, the piston will be forced downwards, thus it won't float while flushing all the water away. Originally, after all the water is flushed, the piston then drops down, but now with the method, we can manage the amount of water flushed.
But the stainless steel object can only be used in traditional toilets.
After pulling up the chain and putting down the stainless steel object, let it fall down naturally, then hook it up a bit. Okay, this is good.
Mr. Xu also uses recycled PET bottles to create a cycle of saving water, using water from custom sink and using it for the toilet.
When the water tank is out of water, it needs water supply. We need a device called a float switch. There's a small hole in the float switch, and if we install a pipe into that hole, guiding the water out into the PET bottle, we may use the water to wash our hands. After washing our hands, the remaining water flows back into the water tank.
Water is easier to use than save, causing many to waste precious resources without realizing. And once water shortage occurs, like what's happening now in Taiwan's water reservoirs, it's important to start saving water on a daily basis.
Pingdong has a baking truck which teaches elders to learn baking and ward off the onset of dementia. It visited 6 communities in Pingdong. During the sales process, many of these elders felt a sense of accomplishment. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.